What is up, guys? Knuckles Up or Michael here, and today I'm back with a brand new video. In this one, I'm going to be starting a new series which I like to call Tier List Tuesdays, and on this one, I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we're doing today. I'm just going to be giving a tier list, doing this for two reasons. One is it is a really simple, fun, stupid video idea that I can get out weekly to you guys, and number two, it can actually foreshadow some of the videos that I'm going to be doing in terms of the more serious and more intuitive and thinking related videos that I will be doing in the future. Before I get into it, I want to say one quick thing, and that's obviously I haven't uploaded much. School's been super busy. Second year is significantly harder than first year was, so I'm trying to keep up with all the work, and with that comes not uploading to my YouTube channel as much as I should be. So I'm gonna try in the new year to upload as much as I can, but until then, you know, we're gonna keep it slow, but I'm gonna try my best to get videos out to you guys, especially because my channel keeps growing, which is obviously great to see. More and more people are subscribing, and I want to give you guys the content that you guys want. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a Mario Party tier list. Now, I've always wanted to do one of these just because Mario Party is my favorite series of all time, and my thought process behind this is that I've already made a video about Mario Party before. I've expressed some hot takes about Mario Party. I want to make it very clear where I stand on this, and I want to be able to argue with some of you in the comments if you disagree. Now, if you have any ideas for new sort of tier lists in the future, let me know down below, because I will be reading all the comments for any tier list ideas. They can be serious, they can be gaming related, they can be really, really stupid. I don't care. Just recommend them down below, and I'll be sure to look at them. Now, before we get into it, I want to just mention that I'm not going to be including any of the ones in the not including section, and the reason why, for example, like Island Tour, Mario Party DS, Game Boy Advance, they're all kind of like Mario Party games, but they're not really. Like, they all have that kind of like spin-off, or like, what's the word, like not main series sort of vibe to it. Like, most people wouldn't consider Mario Party the 100 best mini games to be part of the main series, so I'm just gonna leave them out for now. I also want to mention just super briefly that Mario Party 4 for some reason is listed here twice, so just ignore that. I'm just gonna put that in the, I'll leave it out just for now, so just kind of ignore that second Mario Party. I do want to thank whoever made this tier list right here, Slishy Yoshi, I think that's how you pronounce that, but give him a follow on Twitter. I'll follow him after this video. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitter. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Okay, so starting with my last, I've talked about this in my Mario Party video. I don't think this was really any sort of argument. If you've seen that video before about how I talk about Super Mario Party and why it could be good for the Switch, Mario Party 9 is a really, really bad game that went downhill very, very quickly. I want to start off by saying there are two reasons why Mario Party 9 was awful. One of them was its own fault, and one of them was not its own fault. So we'll start quickly about the one that it's not, just because I think it's not fair to really criticize them for this, but it's something just that we have to keep in mind, why this game is so much worse than every other Mario Party in my opinion. You're coming off Mario Party 5, 6, 7, 8 in succession. Those four games were pretty good, all things considered. Where you line those up on your personal tier, you can't deny that those games were not some of the strongest in the series. For the most part, you could totally disagree with me, and that's okay, but I think that Mario Party 9 having to follow up 5, 6, 7, 8 is really, really tough. And they tried to do this by innovating a lot, and this is where Mario Party 9 went wrong because of its own fault. Now, Mario Party 9 innovating, listen, I think that Mario Party is a series that you can definitely innovate in, okay? I'm a big Mario Party guy, but let's just take, for example, something like Smash Bros, okay? Because I'm also a big Smash Bros guy. In Mario Party, there's a basic premise for the whole game, and that's board, minigames, stars, that's it. You can do so much with that. Okay, there's no set in stone way that this game has to go for. Smash Bros, however, is a franchise where it's like every new game we're buying, we are expecting to have the same type of style of gameplay. The only difference from game to game that we are expecting is more characters, more items, more stages, and maybe a different story mode, and that's it. However, Mario Party is just so unique that you can really twist it however which way you want, and Mario Party 9 recognized this and tried to do something new. So for that, I commend them. Did they do a good job? I'm gonna say no. What Mario Party 9 did is a couple of changes. One, they made it so that you no longer have free will in where you're going on the board. This was a big deal because normally Mario Party boards were kind of almost like spider webs, sort of intertwined in some way, connected in some weird way. Mario Party board games in Mario Party 9 just said screw that, and they made one linear board. So you start here and you end over here. There's no saying that. You just go from start to finish. Once you reach the end of the course, you're done. It's more like a Mario Party track than a Mario Party board. Or sorry, a Mario Kart track than a Mario Party board. The biggest problem with this is that you have no control over which paths you choose. The board feels insignificant because at the end of the day, it's just a line. It's not really any sort of paths that you have to choose which way you go on. For example, the stars are just kind of lingering throughout the track instead of being in set places around the map. So parts of the map you can't even remember. If I have to do off the top of my head, I can't remember any map layout in Mario Party 9, even though I played that game a lot. I beat the story mode, I unlocked every minigame for the Wii on it, no problems, but I just can't remember the maps because there's no significance to certain places in those maps. Honestly, it's just start, middle boss fight, end boss fight. Okay, it kind of sucked. The second big change was that it came with the cart element, but now instead of a individual focused, now you're on a team, and that's a really, really weird concept for a Mario Party game, which has historically been a ruiner of friendship sort of game. Mario Party is iconic for being a game where you want to absolutely murder the people you're playing with, and if you don't want to strangle the guy next to you at the end of the session, you didn't really have a good game of Mario Party, okay? I know that sounds kind of morbid, but Mario Party 9 changed the whole game plan from we're gonna do something like super like normal and do a individual match to a game where for some reason everyone is on a team. And I think that's a horrible idea. Now instead of being the best, you are the best on a team. The whole mindset changed, really sucked. And I think this game just flat out sucks. You can disagree with me if you want, but the linear boards, the mini games were not memorable, the boards were not memorable, the teamwork aspect sucked, the boss fights were lame. Everything about this game sucked. Even little thing like mini stars instead of big stars, give me a break. All of this shit sucks, okay? Moving on to the next one. Just Mario Party 9 absolutely sucks. Alright, so this one may piss some of you off, and it is going to be Super Mario Party, which was the latest installment of the Mario Party series. Now, here is why I don't like this game. I was actually really hopeful about this game. I made a video about this game before it came out, that it had the potential to be really, really good, because it was returning back to its roots. It was kind of mimicking more of the earlier style of Mario Party, like games 1 to 4, with smaller boards, items instead of orbs, kind of like a more chaotic setting. A couple reasons why this game just really, really sucked, in my opinion. First is, I think the dice block idea, I thought could have been good. When it comes to the gameplay perspective, Mario Party is not a game of tiers. And what I mean is that I should be able to pick Yoshi or Waluigi or Wario. It does not matter what character. I should be able to pick that character in a party game with no understanding of differences between the characters and still not be at a disadvantage to someone else. Super Mario Party added in customizable dice blocks between characters. So for example, there would be a character where you could have your normal dice block, which was 1 to 6, which I hate. I hate the 1 to 6 dice blocks, even on smaller maps, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the dice blocks, instead of being 1 to 6, you could have a character that has 2 2s, 2 4s, and 2 6s, which is like, it slightly mixes up the game. And when I saw things like that, I was like, oh, okay, that could be interesting. But then you have characters like Bowser, whom I picked every single map because his dice block was just stupid good. It was either lose 3 coins, like 0, 1, and then 9, 9, 10, or something like that. And it's like, okay, in a game where you can only move maximum 6 at a time, but you only have a 1 in 6 chance of getting that, now you have a 50% chance of getting a roll 8 or higher. Why the hell am I not going to take that? When I played this game with people, it became less about wanting to play the characters that I normally play, which are always Donkey Kong. If Donkey Kong's not available, I'll play Yoshi. But like, it made me not want to play them and go, oh, Bowser's OP, I'm just going to use Bowser. And it actually saved my ass many times where I was like close to a star, but not close enough given the fact that the dice blocks were 1 to 6. And then I could just beast my way to the finish. I think that was stupid. Not a good game design decision in my choice because the maps were small. If the dice block was 1 to 10, you could have made that more fair. I think that the dice block system would have been more fair had the dice blocks been 1 to 10 instead of a 1 to 6 roll. I'm not a fan of the smaller rolls. That said too, Super Mario Party in general, the maps were absolutely horrid. I think all of them sucked. I didn't mind the Thwomp one, but it was really, really boring and repetitive. The free-flowing maps weren't really that fun. The one with the stupid ice cream and the fruit, that one was dumb. Kamix is one of my least favorite maps in any Mario Party game. overall, this game just wasn't memorable. I was expecting a lot more because you come off of, in my opinion, some of the worst Mario Party we've ever seen. You have a new chance to do something right. You're bringing it back to the old roots, and we still managed to screw it up somehow. Super Mario Party, not very memorable, not very fun. Dice blocks were stupid. Boards were small. Boards sucked. Not a fan of this game, okay? So Super Mario Party also in the bad tier. And finally, in the only bad one tier, we're going to have Mario Party 10. It's going to be at the top end of the bad one tier list, and the reason why is because I don't think it's as bad as Super Mario Party and Mario Party 9, and only because of the Bowser mode. It was not my favorite, but at least it was like something new and something kind of fresh that we haven't really seen before. Now, like, oh, now you can be the boss, and I think it utilized the Wii U systems pretty well. Overall, I would say it basically did everything that Mario Party 9 did wrong and just kept it and then added Bowser into it. So the Bowser mode wasn't bad. That's why it's at the tail end of the, or sorry, like the front end of this tier, because I think that is a little bit redeemable, but overall, I probably would never go back to this game. I haven't played either one of these three in a really long time. It's going to round out the only bad ones tier. I think these three suck, and I really hope Mario Party can be better in the future, because again, it's my favorite franchise ever. So, you know, fingers crossed for the boys. All right, now we're moving on to the next tier. I don't even think I needed to define the last one, because the only bad ones tier is just basically mean these games suck. But now I'm going to start defining these tiers a little bit more in depth. And solid but have problems mean I like the game. I play them from time to time. I'm happy if someone wants to play them with me. Are they my first choice? No, because of certain limiting factors. Usually not huge ones, but just things that keep them kind of on the down low. So with that, we're going to start with Mario Party 3. And Mario Party 3 was just boring. Like, it's not a fantastic game in my opinion, but it's also not bad. I think what it did wrong was the fact that it just kind of, it didn't really innovate at all. I think you have a case like Mario Party 9 that innovated so much in so many different ways, but did it so poorly, and that's why it's wrong and bad. But then you have a game like Mario Party 3, which was just almost a replica of 2, but nothing really changed very much. There wasn't a lot of fun to be had in this game. Also, I think a lot of people would agree it's a pain in the ass to play this one by yourself. I think if we're having a by yourself tier list, this has got to be one of the lowest ones, just because the computers were dog shit in this game. Not a fan of this one terribly, but also again, this is in the tier of like, I wouldn't hate it if someone was like, oh, I have Mario Party 3. I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever, let's play it. But this game was just kind of like, if you're gonna play a Mario Party game that's older, you know, pick one. I'll get to it in a moment, like which ones I'm gonna say for, you know, the really good ones, but like there are better Mario Party games than 3 if you're looking at the earlier spectrum of the Mario Party series. So all I'm gonna say is 3 didn't really innovate at all. It was kind of just a scrap of 1 and 2. The solo opportunities in this game were limited at best. Not a big fan of this one. We're moving on though to number 4. Now number 4 is also suffers from similar problems. I've played this game many times, and actually I recently got it for Christmas. My brothers chipped in and they bought it for me, which was a really nice Christmas present, because it's one of the few ones that I still have yet to buy. So I got that, and thank you, brothers, if you're watching. But Mario Party 4 it's fun. It does the job. I think, just a note for why I don't think it's like kind of stuck in between the yes please and the bad ones, is because it has some things really good and some things really bad. I think, again, like 3, it's not a big innovator. It didn't do too much in terms of changing the game, which, by the way, is not a big issue, but when you fail to really capture anything new, I think it's hard to really keep people engaged in the franchise. So that's one little knock to it. But also, I think the biggest plus about this game is that the mini games are so much fun. Like, they're so much fun. I think on a tier, you could definitely put 4 as one of the higher ones. And again, this is just my opinion. Maybe you think the 1s and 4 suck, but I think the 1s and 4 are all pretty unique. Also, all the names for these games are like hilarious. Like, there's one called Goal! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And it's just like, it's a stupid game when it comes to the mini games, but it's a pretty fun one nonetheless. One big knock to it: I'm a big fan of boards. I like to critique the boards. I like to study the boards. I like to understand the boards. Mario Party 4's boards all lack individuality, all lack uniqueness. Even though they have themes, they're really just squares and lines that have just background to them, which doesn't feel unique. Like, I think I'll get into it later, I think one of the best games at boards is Mario Party 7, because you feel like you're in a new world. You feel like you're doing something so different and so incredible, and Mario Party 7 does such a great job on that, and I'll touch on that later. But a game like Mario Party 4 is literally like all the boards have the same layout in terms of like the bottoms are all gray. There's not really much varying nature to them. They're all pretty mundane. Some of them are especially frustrating. I really don't like the Toad map, for example, where it switches pathways and you don't really have any control over that, and that's the main function of the board. There's like no control. There's no autonomy on that board. All the boards overall, not a big fan of. So it's not very unique. You have really good mini games, but you have a really crappy board. So when you have that kind of like balancing factor, I don't think it's good enough to be in Yes Please, but it's also nowhere nearly bad to be in a bad one. So 4 is just kind of like an average game, and I'm happy putting it somewhere in the middle. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Mario Party 1. Now, I'm putting Mario Party 1 in solid, but has problems only for a sort of a framework reasoning. I don't think Mario Party 1 is even a solid game. I think it's a good game, and I think it's a fun game. But when you have a series with so much potential and so much height to grow, you can only really go one of two ways, which is like better than the last one or worse than the last one. I think that Mario Party 1 was really, really fun, and all the series after that then can go from that path of like, oh, we're better than Mario Party 1, we're worse than Mario Party 1, and then we're worse than the last one. So Mario Party 1 just provided a decent framework for the genre to flourish. I don't really have many hot takes on this game. I play it from time to time. It's just nice to throw it back to the old days, but mini games are solid, maps are solid, but there's not really much you can do when it's the first game. I mean, there's not really much to this game other than just kind of like the bare bones, and that's why it's smack in the middle. Like, I have it on the literal middle of the tier list. Like, there's 5 games above it, there's 5 games below it, and I put that very intentionally because I like this game, but like the games above it expanded on what it had done so beautifully, but the games below it had just screwed it up or just not performed to the level of what this genre could be. So I think Mario Party 1 provides a solid framework for like, this game started it all, it should be in the middle. Moving on to the next category, we have Yes Please. And what I mean by Yes Please is basically if someone says you want to play this game, that's your answer. Okay, so it's not good enough yet to be in the 50 turn party, which I will describe in a moment, but it's always like a go-to, like, oh, you want to play this one? Absolutely, I'm down, I'm game for that one, let's go do it. So we're going to start off with the first one in Yes Please, which is going to be Mario Party 5. Where I really like Mario Party 5, I think it has the most fun duel games, or at least the second best most fun duel games in any Mario Party ever. The duel mini games in Mario Party 5 are really, really fun. They're all really strange and like super weird, and some of them are like random or luck based and really frantic, and I think that that's like it's a very specific point to make, but I really love the duel games in this particular game. The reason why I won't put it in the really high tier is because the theme sucks. Like, I'm a big fan of when they do a good job on the theme. It's not like a make or break thing for me, but there are some themes that really, really nailed it. And the thing for me that just sets Mario Party 5 slightly down from the S of S tier, like the upper echelon, is the fact that that theme sucks. Like, whoever thought of Dream theme, like, guys, come on, think harder. Like, this also lends itself to the maps, which are like, you have a theme like Pirate theme, which is like a Pirate Dream. You know, that's one of the maps that's like, oh, that's a really fun one. But then you have like Sweet Dream, and it's also like, well, first of all, shitty pun, but second of all, like Candyland map, and it's not really well done. And it's a problem when you don't have a cohesive theme. Especially, I think a lot of people would agree with this, not in Mario Party, but in general, the use of dreams as a theme or as a trope or as an explanation to do something is super fucking lazy. And I'm trying not to knock Mario Party 5 here too hard for this, but like, dreams, come on, that sucks. So that's like one of the reasons why I don't have it in the really, really high tiers. Otherwise, I think this game is really fun. I don't have too many problems with it, and I always enjoy playing it with my brothers. The mini games are fun. It's just that theme is really what's preventing me from moving it any higher, but it's a good one nonetheless. Moving on to my next one, we have Mario Party 8. Now, I think a lot of people give this game an unfair rep, and the reason why is because this one is like iconic for making your friends want to stab each other. And that's the reason why it's not in the really, really good tier. For me, I think this game is really, really good because historically, I think motion controls, like there's some examples of this being good, but motion controls kind of suck for the most part. There's some games like Mario Kart Wii Sports that used motion controls really, really well. And I think Mario Party 8 is one of these games. Mario Party 8 took Mario Parties 1 to 7 and we're like, yo, let's do it. Let's give them the motion controls. And there's some really fun mini games that come out of this. Now, two problems that prevent it from going to 50 turn party. While the motion controls were really, really good, I think that some of the mini games certainly suffered from motion controls. Like there were some mini games that were super fun, like the one where you like shake that can and like it explodes. Like that one is really fun. Or like the seesaw one, or sorry, the seesaw one, like the saw one where you like saw the log like and paint the thing. That one's super fun. But like there's problems with the mini games, like the one where like you're in a pond with like lily pads and you have to like turn it to side. Like there's some really lame ones, but there's also some really fun ones. So the mini games are like, in my opinion, the most polarized in any game. Like you have some like really awesome ones, some really crappy ones. So the mini games were a bit inconsistent, so I can't move it higher because of that. But number two, as I mentioned earlier, is this game is probably the one that makes you want to kill other people the most. And it's only because of the candies. So the candies were just a replacement for orbs. There was no orbs in this game. You couldn't throw things onto spaces like you could in 5, 6, and 7. However, candies were basically kind of like go through orbs. A lot of them were like the dual orb where you could like run through someone, or like you could use the bolo orb to like roll over people for 20 coins, things like that. The candies in this game were brutal. They were brutal. Like in terms of fairness, like there's a lot of unfair orbs, but the likelihood of you getting them were pretty slim. There were a lot of orbs, or I call them orbs, but there are a lot of candies in Mario Party 8 that just made you want to punch someone. And that's like, again, it's not really that fun if you're constantly getting upset. I think that getting upset happens in Mario Party, and when it happens, and that's okay. But when you're constantly angry because someone with a candy is right on your ass and is about to take everything you own, it's really frustrating. So Mario Party 8 did a really good job of utilizing motion controls. I also think its maps were fantastic. I loved the circus theme, and the host is so unique and so stupid, and probably my favorite host of any Mario Party besides 6, which I'll get to later. But Mario Party 8 just did such a good job overall. And finally, rounding at the yes please tier, we have Mario Party 7. So Mario Party 7 is easily one of my favorites, even though it's not in the SSS tier. The reason why it's one of my favorites is because iconic mini games, like 100%, the mini games were fantastic. I think it has the second best theme of any Mario Party game ever. And again, my rules on themes are like, if the theme is like, it's not make or break, but it certainly lends itself well to the game. And the theme of this one was like the whole around the world, like you're on a cruise ship with Toadstool and everyone's going to places and it's so much fun. That theme works well because now you have maps like Neon Heights, you have maps like Grand Canal, you have my favorite map or second favorite map depending on my mood of the day of any map, Pagoda Peak, which is just like such a fun map. And you can explain how all these maps work because then you're like, oh, we're on a cruise ship around the world, so now you can go to a place like Japan or a place like Italy or a place like New York, and now it all makes sense instead of, for example, a theme like Mario Party 5 where you're just like, oh, it's Sweet Dreams. Like it's a fantastic theme. It's done really, really well. Minigames absolutely iconic and worthy of praise. The story mode was easily one of the best ones because I think the Bowser minigames are so good. I normally hate Bowser minigames and DK minigames. I just think they're lame and I think they slow down the game, but they're done really well in Mario Party 7. That said, the use of Bowser and Koopa Kid in this game is so incredibly frustrating that I cannot for my life forgive this game and put it in S tier. It's whoever decided to make Bowser and Koopa Kid interfere with the game every 5 turns, take your coins, break barriers of the maps, force you to buy items from them, take your stars. Bad design choice, okay? Koopa Kid was fine as a character in Mario Party 6. He did not need to be taken off the roster so he could be one of Bowser's minions. That was not necessary. We were always fine with having a Bowser space, a DK space, whatever. But Bowser coming into the game every 5 turns and being like, hey, you give me coins. Or he's just going to break a bridge and you have to walk on it and then he's going to steal your crap. Not fair, not fun. Not fun for anyone. It didn't really add anything to the game, and I wouldn't like this in any other game. So I'm kind of happy that they did away with it in Mario Party 8. Just a final note about Mario Party 7. The 8-player minigame mode and the 8-player party mode is such a smart decision because Mario Party, 4-player game historically, some of my greatest childhood memories is me and like 7 other people, including my siblings and like random family friends over, and we're playing Mario Party 7 as the 8-player mode where you're sharing a controller with someone else. Such a great decision to allow 8 people at once, and all those mini games were fun and creative, and that 8-player party mode was actually a well done team mode. I'm normally not a fan of the team mode, but it was actually well done because there was 4-player mini games, there was 1 versus 3, but there also was 8-player mini games, so it worked really well. It's just the only reason why I can't put this one in S is because Bowser. Bowser sucks in this game. I hate him. If he wasn't in there to the extent that he is, then it would be an S tier game. Otherwise, it's going to stay in that A tier slot. And finally, we are going to move it on to the 50 party turn right now. And what this category means is, for those of you that don't play Mario Party too often, the most turns you can do in one party, because it's like turns, like, you know, everyone goes and then there's a mini game and then that's one turn. Usually my family and I, my friends and I, we pick like 15, 20, 25. If we're really quick, we want 10. Typically, you don't really go over 25. I, however, love to play 50 turn parties. I think it's fun. I think it's strategic. I think there's a lot that can happen, but they take like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on which game you're playing and depending on how fast the game is going. So if you're willing to do a 50 turn party of a game, it better be a good game. And I think there are only 2 games that really fit that bill. And the first one is Mario Party 2. I think most people have this as their number 1, and it's for just reason. Mario Party 2 is such a immaculate game. Like, everything about it is perfect. It has just the right level of pissing people off, but it's also fair in competition. It's really, really funny. The controls are kind of jank, but in like a fun 64 sort of way that are like lend well to the game, and it's kind of like goofy style. I think it did well with the theme. I think it was incredibly unique. I think everything about it was done pretty darn well. And there's not really anything in that game that jumps out at me when I play it that makes me just want to yell at the screen profusely or never want to play it again. I have it for the virtual console on my Wii. I play it all the time on my 64. It's a really, really fun game. It's not my favorite because Mario Party 6 has got to take that cake. And okay, so some of you might say this is biased, and I think this is absolutely true, but Mario Party 6 was the first console game I ever played in my life. But after Mario Party 6, I proceeded to buy Mario Party 7, and then I bought 5, 8, and then I actually started collecting all of them. And I'm only missing a couple right now of all of the Mario Party games, but Mario Party 6 is the one I started with. And the reason why it's so good is because it just has a little bit of everything that's done absolutely perfectly. And what I mean by this is, I think the only reason why 6 is over 2 in my opinion, I just think orbs are a better design choice, and they are more unique, and you can do more with them than what you can do with items. So for me personally, I think that it was just the orbs over items, and I think that applies with all games. I think orbs is a better decision because you can put them on the board, you can use them on yourself, you can use them on other people directly on the stars. You can do a lot with them, and it makes sense. Items are very one note. You can't do a lot with them, and it's the same thing with candies. So for me, orbs is really what sets it apart. That said though, everything about this game, the theme is, in my opinion, the best theme. You could argue 7 is better, and that would be a fair argument, but 6 is really, really good too. The whole day and night theme lends itself well because now certain parts of the map will be open, and you can like access Boo during nighttime, but like during daytime, Boo you can't access, and like this part of the map is open, which would make sense. There's also the feud of Twyla and Brighton going at each other, and it just lends itself well to the whole day and night theme. All the maps are fun. I'm not a big fan of Clockwork Castle, but like that's just me being me. However, Castaway Bay is one of the coolest maps in Mario Party history. Fair Square is super, super unique, and it's just something so strange. And then like maps like Egads and Treetop, like you have Egads and Treetop, which are like your standard walk around the maps, but they're just done so well, and there's so much nuance to them, and there's so many different ways to play these maps, and you never get tired of this game. You put it down once and you never want to stop playing it. The mini games too are fun. The characters are perfect. Mic mode is surprisingly fun, even though I don't typically like using the mic for Mario Party games. If you have a mic, Mario Party 6 is the best one for that. I think 7 doesn't really do a good job at that, but 6, however, is actually solid for the mic mode. Overall, I think Mario Party 6 is just so immaculate. Everything about it is great, and that's going to round out this tier list. So again, just to recap, in the top tiers, we have 6 and 2. In the sort of A tier zone, we have 7, 8, 5. We have the BC, kind of like the solid, but like has its issues tier, is just the original, and then 4, 3. And the ones that I actually think are bad games are 10, Super Mario Party, and 9. So let me know what you think down below. You can rank yours. And by the way, please give me ideas for more of these in the future, because they're super fun and super easy to make, and it's just a way for me to share my opinions with you guys. So if you want any tier lists, leave them down below. That's gonna do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, drop a like down below, subscribe if you have not, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.